Hi everybody, welcome to Thursday, March the 18th. Today what I'd like to do in video number one is I want to spend a bit more time on your persuasive assignment, more specifically, pardon me, on page 312 in your textbook, that fundraising messages section. I want to spend some time on that today, and just to make sure that everybody is on track with where they need to be, what they need to be doing, especially in regards to the research with the particular companies that you've chosen. So if I can have you turn to page 312, everybody, that top section, fundraising messages, I want to make sure that you understand that this fundraising message that you are putting together is what they call a variation of a sales letter, where, you know, the sales letter goes out and they are trying to sell you something. Well, the fundraising message appeals to people. They want you to be able to donate, okay? Donate money, donate your time, whatever it could be. Pardon me. So we need to understand what a fundraising message is. And some of the points that you need to keep in mind when you are putting your letter together, everybody, first of all, is that you have to be able to identify an important problem, okay? Why should I, as the potential donor, care about your organization? So you need to identify this problem. So if you are working on the Medicine Hat and District Food Bank, more specifically with the Healthy Bundles program, okay, that program is focusing on low income women or low income families. The women are either pregnant, okay, they could be breastfeeding, they might have a child under 1 year of age. Okay, so that's what that particular program is focusing on. So what is the problem? Okay, what is the problem in our community? Do we have a lot of low income people that would support something like this? I would argue we do. If you're unfamiliar with Medicine Hat, we do have an existing food bank building, but they are now going to be moving into a much larger building on Maple Avenue. They're taking over an abandoned or older fire hall that isn't in use anymore. So they are moving. Obviously, we have a need in this community for the food bank, and we obviously have a need for this Healthy Bundles program. So what it does, everybody, is it focuses on healthy and nutritious meals for women who are pregnant, women who are breastfeeding, and women who may have children 1 year of age and younger. Okay, that's the demographic that they're looking for with the low-income family. With the Medicine Hat SPCA, you're looking specifically at that spay-neuter program. I have identified a problem with an article that was in the newspaper last week. I've shared that on Blackboard, so you know, everybody, that we do have an issue here in town, here in Medicine Hat specifically, with a lot of what we call feral cats. Wild cats, or those that have just been dropped and abandoned. Okay, we know that cats are reproducing faster than we would like them to. So we do need this spay and neuter program in place to help slow down these cats that are reproducing at a rate higher than what we can care for them. So and then with the women's shelter, with their Phoenix Safe House, their emergency shelter, we also know in Medicine Hat, as it is in every other community, especially in these trying times of COVID, we're seeing an increase in domestic violence calls. Women are leaving homes quickly. Okay, a lot of times they're leaving with nothing, right? So we need to have this emergency shelter in place for them to give them some sort of safe environment where they can go to sort of collect their thoughts and decide what their next course of action is going to be. So you need to identify that important problem, everybody. And I would say for all three of the ones chosen, we certainly do have that problem. Also with our fourth group, Suniti, who is doing Big Brothers, Big Sisters, more specifically looking at Go Girls. We know in our communities, we are facing a really trying time with our younger people, especially during COVID, and we need to have these mentoring programs in place to be able to help them with the struggles that they are facing due to school being in and then school's out, and domestic violence can certainly affect their family home life as well too. So these are all important organizations, nonprofits, and you really need to be able to identify an important problem. So with that, everybody, you do need to do some research. I know that students tend to be a little bit frightened of the R word, research. Okay, but you really do need to understand what's going on in the communities in order to be able to write these letters, everybody. So step number one, identify that important problem. Step number two, you need to show everybody that the problem is solvable. Okay, so what are these organizations doing in order to help those demographics that they serve? Okay, how can my money go towards the SPCA and help solve this issue that we have with cats or dogs, even too, that haven't been spayed or neutered? So make sure you understand, everybody, that the problem has to be solvable, right? By donating money, we can increase the bed capacity at the women's shelter. We can take in more families. We can help them in their struggles to try and have that sort of normal life that a lot of us seem to take for granted. Explain, step number three, everybody, explain how that nonprofit organization is working on solving the problem. Okay, so it ties in with step number two. How are you, as the fund developer for said organization, going to explain what your company is doing to help solve that problem? And then lastly, but certainly by no means least, everybody, is where you want to ask for that donation. So that last paragraph of that letter that you are going to write to me is going to be where your call to action or asking for that donation is going to come into play. Right? And you remember when we talked about writing, we always had those three sort of steps, right? Your introduction, the body, and then the conclusion. Okay, I would argue that when you're putting this together, your call for action or donating, asking for that donation is going to come at that very last part of your letter. Okay, so it's like you're telling a story, and then how can I, as that entrepreneur, help you, right, with the money that I will be donating? So things to keep in mind, everybody, when you're putting these letters together, really get your mind set into that organization. Who are they? What do they represent? How long have they been in business? Okay, and then look at sort of the problems that we're having in our community, right? Why are we why are we witnessing this issue now with low income people? What is happening in our community where we now have to come in and help them, right? We should be understanding what the problem is so that we can fully understand how we're going to put this letter together, everybody. So you really truly need to do some research on it, understand the company, what they're all about. Talk to me about the problem. Tell me why. Why are cats being abandoned? What is the issue? Well, I would argue that the issue number one is that they're reproducing so quickly that it's basically kittens having kittens, for lack of a better description of it. So we need to slow down this problem, right? And how are we going to do that? We're going to do that by the spay and neuter program. So that would work with the SPCA. Okay, so everybody, please make sure that you take a look at page 312, that fundraising messages. It's due again towards the end of the month, right? We've got March 30th down for that day, everybody. So this will be the end of video one, everybody. So persuasive messaging, what is it all about? And specifically that fundraising message. Oh, and just on as a side note, they do give you an example in the textbook of a great or effective, for lack of a better word, favor request. So tying into this fundraising persuasive letter that you have to do, if you take a look at page 297, everybody, they give you an example of an effective letter that is going to be sent out. Okay, so take a look at that to kind of give you some ideas on what the format is. Keep in mind, everybody, that it is one page. And make sure, everybody, if I can just add this at the end, when you're signing your letter, So at the very end, everybody, where you go, sincerely, yours truly, however you want to put that closure in, when you sign your name to it, please at the bottom, underneath your name, your title for this particular assignment is Fund, F-U-N-D, Developer. Okay, that's going to be your title for this assignment. So make sure that you include that in at the end of your letter, everybody. And I look forward to reading the letters and seeing how you have come up with your ideas on the certain circumstances or issues that these organizations are facing. All right, that's the end of video 1, everybody. I'm going to come back on with video 2, and I want to talk a little bit about your presentation that you're going to do, your 5-minute video that you're going to do. I just want to go over some highlights for that to help you put that together. So I'll be right back. Thank you very much.